Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All praises are Allah's, Lord of the world. And may His peace and blessings be upon our Master, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, and His pure Immaculate Ahlul Bayt.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala.
Today, the focus of the talk, inshallah, will be two traditions from the Ahlul Bayt in relation to how different actions manifest differently and what they manifest as. That's the focus. But before that, I want to go through a number of preliminary points. Some of them are merely technical, so don't worry if you don't fully understand. But some of them are, I think, useful and practical for understanding those traditions, those two traditions, in a more important way. Okay. In the science of logic, man is defined as an animal that is rational. The rational animal. Man being the species, and man is an animal, animal being the genus or gens, as they say. And the animal is rational, rational being the differential. So man, the species, is an animal, animal is the genus. It's something that man has in common with other animals. They all share the term, this genus of being an animal.
Could you please tell me in Arabic this one?
Yes, genus or gens.
Yes, okay, but
Yes?
there is.
All right. Man is the species, which is Noah. Genus is gens, animal.
Yeah.
It shares this animalness with a horse, pig, monkey. But then that which differentiates man from other animals is through the fasl, the differential. It differentiates, and that is being rational, because other animals aren't rational. So that's the definition in logic, though. But the Ulama here have some problems with this. They say, wait a minute, you're only looking at the external side of things. You're missing something crucial here, which unfolds the essence and reality of man. You're just looking at man, the rational animal, just the outside aspect of man. True, all kinds of man, rational animals, they breathe, they talk, they sleep, they eat, they drink, and so on and so forth. They have that in common with all of them. And they work, and all these things, you're right. Rational people all have these common properties, and that's what you're basing your classification on. However, we want to get to the essence of man. Then they say, these actions that you're speaking about, that man does, these actions become actions which they do in this world. They become part of man's malakat. Malakat being those ingrained attributes, ingrained dispositions that one, over a period of time, it becomes firmly ingrained in one, be it good or bad. He says, wait, these actions that man does, and they become firmly ingrained within the soul, and they become in unity with the soul, they become the soul, they're not different to the soul now, after becoming firmly incorporated. That's the true identity of man. You're just looking at the phenotype. Go deeper. Our criterion is what those malakat are, what those embodiment and manifestation, those actions are. That's the true reality of man, not just a physical phenotype. It's this soul's unfolding of itself, depending on the actions that it has done in this world, that defines its true identity, and therefore the true identity of man. Not just the mere phenotype. So here there's one difference here. And that's because they both are focusing on something different, a specific dimension. One is focusing on the external side. We look at man as a rational animal. One says, oh, no, they're thinking there's something much deeper. It's the inner dimension of man. What differentiates that inner dimension? The malakat. Be they good or bad, depending on the action. So in this world, yes, man is the species, the rational animal, and within this species there are particular types. There's Tom, Dick, Harry, Ali, Nari, Tari, different particular men or women. But in the hereafter, suddenly there's a shift. Man becomes the genus. And within this genus, it can be any animal whatsoever. It may be a monkey, a pig, a dog, or a true human being, all depending on one's actions. So here in Irfan, the definition differs. Man is a potential divine being with the potential to acquire all divine attributes and manifest them. That's the definition of man. If man doesn't act properly in this life, then he will remain an actual animal and will remain a potential divine being. The whole aim is to make that potential divine being an actual divine being. But bad actions, the result of bad actions will mean that man remains an actual animal and won't grow. It won't be a true human. Now, what kind of animal will they become? It depends on the actions once again. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam has said, فَالسُّورَةُ سُورَةُ الْإِنسَانِ. The form, the phenotype, if you like, is the form of a human being. وَالْقَلْبُ قَلْبُ الْحَيْوَانِ. But the heart is the heart of an animal. The heart usually, it's referring to the fitra. That book of existence was not filled properly and made them on a par with animals. Now, this verse is part of the verse, quite a delicate point here, with some important practical implications. It's in chapter 2, 286. Laha ma kasabat. Whatever it has earned, it's for him, it's for the soul. Ha here is referring, before the verse, in the early part, is referring, speaks about the soul. Whatever the soul earns, it's for the soul. وَعَلَيْهَا مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. Wait for the join it together. مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. Whatever it's earned is against the soul. That's a very literal translation. Kasaba and iktasaba both mean earning. They both mean earning. However, when they're both used together in the same verse, it's the prepositions which differentiates the type of learning each one bears. Here, it says, the verse says, Laha ma kasabat. Once with iktasabat, it says, alayha. Alayha, the preposition ala here, meaning it goes against them. It's negative for them. Laha, it is positive for them. So whatever it has earned in a positive way, it's to their benefit. And whatever it has earned in a negative way will go against them. That's the translation of the verse. They're both two kinds of earnings here. What has the soul done action-wise? What has it earned itself through its actions? If it's good actions, it will be to its benefit. If it's negative actions, it will be to its harm. لها ما كسبت وعليها ما كسبت. Now, kasabat, this earning, is when those actions that the soul does is on a par with one's fitra. Or one is filling one's book of existence properly as it should be filled. Here, whenever you see kasaba, that's the meaning. Whereas iktasaba, this is when they're both using the same verbs. Otherwise, when they're used differently, they both can mean both meanings. But when they come together, they have to be differentiated. Iktasaba is when you don't fill the book of existence as it should be filled, or you act in contradiction to your fitra. You're earning in a negative way. It's going to be to your harm. Okay, now that's one point. Now a number of traditions become more understandable now. Al-Qasibu Habibullah. The earner, or it's usually translated as the laborer, Qasib, the earner, is Allah's loved one. Allah loves them. But it doesn't mean any laborer. It doesn't mean anyone who strives very hard for their living. It's whoever strives, a striving that is on a par with one's fitra. Those traditions where they say the Holy Prophet kisses the hand of the Qasib, doesn't mean any worker who strives very hard in their life. Is one who strives in a manner that is in accordance with one's fitra. So if one is not a Qasib, someone whose actions is on a par with one's fitra, one is not a true human being. Now, this has stages and degrees naturally. We may never be the true human being, but we may be partially. We have to be Qasib though. I.e., whatever we do in life, the action must be on a par with our fitra, be it in the study place, workplace, at home, and so on. But if you're earning negatively, if you're a muqtasib, iktasaba, and those negative actions become incorporated within you, you remain an animal. What kind of an animal? Depends on the actions. And that's what the traditions which I'm going to follow gives a few examples. Only examples. It's a limit. Now maybe, this is just an observation, why were all the prophets, at some time during their lives, why were they shepherds? They were always with animals. Sheep, camel, cow, all different kinds of animals. And sometimes it was a prerequisite to be a shepherd, and they would be tested as a shepherd. Prophet Musa, one of his tests before becoming a prophet was, I don't recall the story exactly, word to word. The rough gist of it was, in his herd, he had lost a sheep, and he lost it for 2 days. During these 2 days, he would search everywhere for the sheep, everywhere, do everything, searching for the sheep. After 2 days, he found the sheep. And on finding him, embraced the sheep, stroked the sheep. And where were you? You must have had nothing to eat, you must be very hungry, you must have compassion to an animal. Kept on feeding it, stroking it. Because prophets want to be prophets of mankind. And the true identity of mankind can be that of a sheep. Many people, that true identity, because of those negative malakot, it may be that of an animal. But prophets have to express compassion, forbearance, have patience before humans, even if their true identity is that of an animal. And you can see the true identity of people. Just because people may be on a par with an animal identity, prophets still show their compassion, they won't harm them, and this was a prerequisite. Because for them to encounter and treat people, well, those people may not be true human beings. They would have to prepare in some way. A few verses now, chapter 81, verse 5. إِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِرَتْ, when the wild beasts will be resurrected. Now, don't take wild beasts as, real animals. As a different expression, where the animals will also have a resurrection. Mullah Sadr says, yes, if the sinner has a problem with that, but that's not what the Quran wants to say, it's us. The whole verses of the Holy Quran is man's journey, man's esoteric journey to Allah. Some of us are going to be wild animals on resurrection. Our actions were negative. These actions will be manifested as wild animals. Chapter 86, verse 9, يَوْمَ تُبْلَى السَّرَائِرُ, the day when the inner dispositions will be unfolded. Referring to resurrection. Now, some people may unfold it in this world. It's possible. For most of us, it's after physical death. Chapter 12, verse 13. Prophet Yaqub, Jacob alayhi salam, when they wanted to take Yusuf alayhi salam, he didn't want his sons to take Yusuf. What did he say? وَأَخَافُ, I fear, أَن يَأْكُلَهُ الذِّئْبُ, I fear that the wolves may eat him. Because he saw the inner identity of his sons. He saw the wolfness of his sons. He knew what they were planning to do. He knew what they were. As a result of their negative actions, they were wolves. But he had to phrase it in such a terminology. And then chapter 78, verse 18, يَوْمَ يُنْفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ فَتَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا, the day when the soul will be blown and you will come in groups. What does this mean? Commonly translated as the day the trumpet will be blown. You see, how are we going to explain this really to the people? What do they mean by a trumpet? And who's going to blow the trumpet? They say Israel is going to blow the trumpet. And then everyone will hear the trumpet with the physical ear. Makes Israfil a physical entity. How are we going to explain this really? Is that it? Are we going to suffice with that? So what is this soul? But it's certainly not a trumpet. That's one thing. In Arabic, it's a kind of cylinder where when you blow into it, for specific purposes they used to use it, when you blow into it, on the other side, flames would come out, or fire or something like that. Okay, now, who is blowing into it? What is the soul? What are the flames? And then you will come in groups. Which you? What are the groups? See, these things have to be opened up a bit. And some scholars have tried and opened the inner dimensions of these verses. I'll just share with you one such understanding. But if you keep on saying it will happen one day, this stroke of the trumpet at the very end, well, what use does it have for us today, right now? This perspective is something which Israfil, the angel, is in the work, day after day, action after action. The soul is bowed into every moment in our lives right now. But we don't see our coming into groups right now. But we are coming into groups. But we don't see it. Now what does all this mean? First the verse says, Yawma yunfakhu, the day when the trumpet. And we've spoken about what the day means. It's a medium through which something is manifested. Like, for example, Allah created the cosmos in, let's say, 6 days. It was 6 certain manifestations which occurred. Maliki Yawmiddin is the master of where Deen manifests.
In resurrection.
Pardon? Yes, yes.
The day of resurrection.
Resurrection, yes, of judgment, yes. Here, Yam being you, the soul, is being resurrected. Now, here, in Yawma Yunfakhu Fis-Sur, it's a time when your malakat, those inner dispositions that you've acquired, day after day, they will be manifested. They are manifesting. Who's manifesting it? Israfil. What is the soul? It's the soul. Who is manifesting your malakat in this embodiment of actions, from action to action, day to day? Israfil is. He's active right now. He's growing into the soul. You acquire those malakat, and they will be manifesting. They'll come into groups and groups. You will come into groups and groups. There's different manifestations coming out. You see, that now, this topic has a different meaning now. Not something which we think one day it will happen. It's happening right now. We don't see it. We will see it one day. But it's all happening right now. But we don't see the methodi body. So in the same way, when they would blow into the cylinder with flames coming out, here with Israfil's blowing, where he's the executor of the embodiment of actions, here the flames being our malakat. And that's why we have to really be attentive day after day. Okay, that was the introduction. Now 2 traditions, and then we'll finish, inshallah. In these traditions, if I do give examples, these are my own examples, they may be wrong. That doesn't matter. If I'm wrong there, don't be too worried there. For example, when it says this action leads to you manifesting as such an animal, I give 1 or 2 examples of that action. I may be wrong in the masadi, the examples of such a thing. Don't be worried about that, just get the main focus of the story. And in Bara ibn Azir, so the narrator says, كان مع ذب جبل جالسا قريبا من رسول الله في منزل أبي أيوب الأنصاري. The Holy Messenger of Allah was in the house of Abi Ayyub al-Ansari, probably in Medina, and Ma'av, who was a companion of the Holy Prophet, was sitting nearby the Holy Prophet. فقال معاذ said, يا رسول الله أرأيت قول الله تعالى يوم ينفخ في السور فتأتون أفواجا. The introduction I gave of that verse, it would be now supported in this tradition. Can you inform us in relation to the verse يَوْمَ يُنْفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ فَتَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا. The day when the sur will be blown and you will come into groups. قال, the Holy Prophet said, يَا مَعَاذ سَأَلْتَ عَنْ عَظِيمٍ مِنَ الْعَامِ. Verily you have asked of an important, mighty matter. ثُمَّ أَرْسَلَ عَيْنَيْهِ. And then the Holy Prophet shed a tear. Now what's going to come up? It's going to be something serious, something important. The Holy Prophet shed a tear now. And he said, يُحْشَرُ أَشْرَةُ أَصْنَافٍ مِنْ أُمَّتِي أَشْتَاتًا. There'll be 10 classes of my ummah who will be resurrected differently. أَدْمَيَّزَهُمُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. And Allah has differentiated them from the Muslims. They're all Muslims. But these 10 classes have been differentiated from the Muslims. وَبَدَّلَ صُوَرَهُمْ. And Allah has changed their forms. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ عَلَى صُورَةِ الْقِرَدَةِ. But those who appear as monkeys, فَالْقَطَّاتُ مِنَ النَّاسِ. They are the gossip mongers amongst the people. Be you male or female. They're not backbiting, but people's misfortunes, people's open public errors becomes just a topic, just chatting and speaking totally worthlessly, wasting their time, void, futile. And they keep on clustering into groups and speaking about just futile talk with no value whatsoever. On a par with monkeys. They are a monkey. If this becomes ingrained within one, that's going to be the death of the body. And that's going to cause harm to the eye. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ عَلَى صُورَةِ الْخَنَازِيرِ فَأَهْلُ السُّحْتِ. Those who appear with the form of pigs, they are the consumers of haram. They'll be haram food, haram money. They're just consuming haram. And there's no remorse or regret on their behalf. When something wrong is done without any remorse or regretlessly, then that's a sign that's firmly incorporated within you now. You're a pig. The phenotype is that of a human being. The heart is that of a pig. The Holy Prophet was shedding a tear before saying all this, because he cares for his ummah, pains his heart to see what will happen to his ummah like this. It matters to them. With them it's all compassion. And to the 12th Imam, we can be paining him with our actions. See, that's a code. This Christian saying, he shed a tear. What are we doing with the 12th Imam? وَأَمَّا الْمُنَكِّسُونَ عَلَى رُؤُوسِهِمْ فَآكِلَةُ الرِّبَا. And the people who will appear upside down. These are the consumers of usury, riba. وَلَأُمَا, concerning the blind, those who will appear blind. الْجَائِرُونَ فِي الْحُكْمِ, those who transgress from the canonical rulings, the Sharia. They'll be blind in the hereafter. And a verse in the Holy Quran, وَمَنْ كَانَ فِي هَذِهِ أَعْمَى, those who are blind in this world, فَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ أَعْمَى, they'll be blind in the hereafter. Now, being blind in this world doesn't mean that physical disability or blindness. It's just you are blind to the Sharia, and you will be resurrected partly as a blind entity. وَالصُّمُّ الْبُكُمُ الْمُعْجِبُونَ بِأَعْمَالِهِمْ. Some will appear as deaf and dumb. They are those who have become self-conceited as a result of their actions. Now these may be believers, or they're all Muslims anyway. Actions that are done tastelessly, non-wajib actions that are done tastelessly can easily lead to one's conceit. Especially when you disclose it. I've done Salat al-Layl for 2 years now. Sometimes, Salat al-Layl becomes a subject for discussion in groups. Sometimes you have to keep some actions, keep a personal one-to-one rapport with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no need to disclose it with everyone. You open the doors of conceit, be careful. The wajibat, as much as you want, discuss with the people. I'm going to give my khums tomorrow. And then I'm going to do salat now. I want to do fasting. It's not the Ramadan. But with the mustahabat, try to do it in private, mostly. As much as possible, anyway. Some of them you can't. Anyway, if your ibadat is going to be done tastelessly, the non-wajib ones, because the wajib ones is a minimum requirement, whether it's done tastelessly or tastefully. But if the wajib ones are done tastelessly, it won't harm one. But the mustahabat, if that's done tastelessly, yes, it's going to harm one. Shimr would do Salat al-Layl every night. He would fast most of the year. He was fasting on the day of Ashura. When he lifted the holy head, he broke his nose so the dust won't get into his nose. That's where one can be taken. Because all those actions just added to that conceit, that arrogance, that ego, and that was the result. Just one veil after the other. وَالَّذِينَ يَمْضُغُونَ أَلْسِنَتَهُمْ فَالْعُلَمَاءُ وَالْقُضَاةُ الَّذِينَ خَالَفَ أَعْمَالُهُمْ أَعْمَالَهُمْ. Those who appear as chewing their tongues, they are the ulama, the judges, the scholars, whose words are, what they say are in contradiction to what they practice. You see? But that's in relation to me, not for you. وَمُقَطَّعَةُ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَأَرْجُلِهِمْ. Some will appear with amputated hands and legs. Who are they? الَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ الْجِيرَانِ. Those who harm their neighbors. They're in their houses. It's as if their legs and hands, separate from their body, go to their neighbor's house and harm them. It's as if it's like that. They will appear with an amputated body. No good comes out from them. They just harm their neighbors. Our neighbors just don't have to be the house next to them. In general. وَالْمُصَلَّبُونَ عَلَى جُذُوعٍ مِّن نَارٍ. There will be those who will be crucified on branches of fire. فَالسُّعَاةُ بِالنَّاسِ إِلَى السُّلْطَانِ. They are the snitchers to the ruling authorities. Here, the ruling authority is implying an oppressive authority. You have no right to go and snitch and go and provide an account of your fellow Muslims to the ruling oppressive authority. If you do, the manifestation is being burned on branches of fire. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ أَشَدُّ نَتْنًا مِنَ الْجِيفِ. There will be those who will appear smelling worse than rotten corpses. What have they done? What is this a manifestation of? فَالَّذِينَ يَتَمَتَّعُونَ بِالشَّهَوَاتِ وَاللَّذَّاتِ. They are those who have been drowned in the worldly desires and passions. Just drowned in them. And the result, وَيَمْنَعُونَ حَقَّ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ. And they avoid spending in Allah's name in relation to their capital. They don't spend it as they should be spending it. And the result, that's a result of just being drowned in the worldly passions and whims. وَالَّذِينَ يَلْبَسُونَ الْجُبَابِ. There are those who wear clothes. Here, it's referring to clothes of fire. It's a negative connotation. فَأَهْلُ الْفَخْرِ الْخُيَلَاءِ. They're the boastful, arrogant ones. That's how they will. And then we have tradition that some traditions say they will manifest as ants. These are just some examples of specific actions, how they will be manifested. And one final tradition from Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, he says, الناس في زماننا على ست طبقات. People today in our time may be classified into 6 levels, 6 classes of people. And this is not meant to be a comprehensive classification, it's just examples. Asadon, lions, Dhi'abon, wolves, Thaqalab, foxes, Kalabon, dogs, Khinzirun, pigs, Washaton, sheep. فَأَمَّا الْأَسَدُ, concerning the lions. Now with each of these, he wants to say who manifests as these entities. فَمُلُوكُ الدُّنْيَا, they're the rulers of the earth, the leaders. يُحِبُّ كُلُّ وَاحِدٍ أَن يَغْلَبَ. Each one of them desires to conquer, وَلَا يُغْلَبَ, but they don't desire to be conquered. They're lions, they're not human beings. To be a true ruler, a true leader is very difficult. Most of them fall into attributes of the lion, and they will become a lion. And their eye, in the hereafter, will be in association with a lion. Not that they'll see a lion approaching them, they are the lion. That's the pressure of the grave. That's the meaning of terror and horror in the hereafter. It's going to cause a lot of torment. It's a chastising punishment. وَأَمَّا الذِّئْبُ, concerning the wolves, فَتُجَّارُكُمْ, they are your businessmen. Why? يَظُمُّونَ إِذَا اشْتَرَوْا, when buying, they keep on finding faults with things. So they maybe get a proper price or something. It's just an excuse for them. وَيَمْدُحُونَ إِذَا بَاعُوا, but when they want to sell their goods, they keep on praising the goods. Now just extend that a bit more to different walks of life, and then you can see whether the wolfness of you is enhanced or not. When it's for your own benefit, you praise something. When it goes against you, you keep on finding faults. You just have to extend this a bit, and the connotations are vast. I don't want to go into examples too much. Just think a bit on this. وَأَمَّا الثَّعْلَبُ فَهَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ بِأَدْيَانِهِمْ. Concerning foxes, they are those who use religion as a means of living. For example, scholars who use religion, speeches, and other things as a means of living, they are foxes. Yeah? It was never part of the program in Islam, earning out of religion. It wasn't part of the seerah of the Imams. We don't have it that the Imams would teach religion and earn. They may give things to other people as a reward, but they would never earn out of teaching. And then not only that, they would work on farms and sweat. If, for example, I'm here for 15 days, if they don't give me anything, I should still be satisfied before Allah. I shouldn't be expecting anything. The more I expect, in proportion to my expectation, my fox identity will be enhanced. Religion can't be used as a means to your livelihood. Religion is the people's. You have to either don't enter the field, but if you enter now, you have to preach. You have to just, without any reward. It has to be done wholly for Allah's sake. Now, but don't judge other people. If some people assign rates for teaching, first of all, they may not be wearing the clothing. If you're wearing the clothing, the turban, and this isn't a religious uniform. In Islam, we don't have such a thing as a uniform. This has been acquired over time. And people respect it. It's the clothing of the Prophet. If you wear it, just using it as a means for your livelihood is problematic. There's no doubt in that. I'm not saying it's haram, but it's certainly unethical. And it's going to be a cause of your downfall one day. But if you do hear of people who set rates, and high rates, don't judge them. First of all, they may be like a university professor. That's one thing. We don't expect the university professor, even in the Islamic studies, they're not preachers. It's an academic thing for them. There's no need to attack people who do that. Just think about ourselves, everyone to themselves, this fox identity has to be eliminated from. وأما الثعلب فهؤلاء الذين يأكلون بأديانهم. They eat through their religion. They use religion as a means of their earning. ولا يكون في قلوبهم ما يصفون بألسنتهم. That which is in their hearts is not that which they say, they speak out. It's not existent in their hearts. They just know how to speak. وأما الكلب يحر على الناس بلسانه. Concerning dogs, they attack people. They are those who attack people with their tongues. They're very aggressive. They're harsh with people, the way they speak. وَيُكْرِمُهُ النَّاسِ. And people dignify them and pay them respect. مِنْ شَرِّ لِسَانِهِ. Just to be immune and secure from their tongue. To save them, that harsh behavior. In their tongues, they want to be free from it. So they respect them. They are dogs. وَأَمَّا الْخِنْزِيرُ فَهَؤُلَاءِ الْمُخَنَّثُونَ وَأَشْبَاهُهُمْ. The pigs, this term, forgive me, but it says it's a tradition, those who become anally copulated, and their like. لا يدعون إلى فاحشة إلا أجابوا. They accept when they're invited to such an action, advice. وأما الشاة, but concerning the sheep, فالمؤمنون, they are the believers. The believers are the sheep. يجر شعورهم, their hair will be pulled. وَيُؤْكَلُ لُحُومُهُمْ, their flesh will be consumed, devoured upon. وَيُكَسَّرُ عَظْمُهُمْ, their bones will be broken. They're sheep, they're oppressed in such a society. فَكَيْفَ تَسْنَعُ الشَّاةُ, what must the sheep do? بَيْنَ أَسَدٍ, amongst the lions, وَذَئْبٍ, wolves, وَثَعْلَبٍ, foxes, وَكَلْبٍ, dogs, وَخِنْزِيرٍ, pigs. What are they to do? Okay, I think that's it. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll speak about the Salat. وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَعَلَى آلِهِ.